Hello everyone, welcome back to Daily Endeavours for Friday the 5th of September. We've got a 15 seal set, as always, timecodes in the description if you just want to skip things and just get to whichever one you're looking for. So this set's pretty good. Everything here is space game, everything is pretty easy. The only one I wouldn't really bother with is killing a player. Even though it is quick, it's just not as reliable as the rest, because this one here you kind of have to go around and find players and then never in the same place. Whereas these ones here, kind of can just go to the same place and find them. Maybe resource from the world you might have to run around a bit, but harvesting a resource is a lot easier than getting a kill on a player, so I'll still talk about this one in a bit of detail at the end, but yeah, it's definitely Beast, Gallery Furnishings, Lawbook, all really easy, and resources isn't too bad either. So I will start with the Lawbook. This one's incredibly simple. Any bookshelf bookshelf, bookcase, any books that are like anything that you can read as well, like this stuff here, it all counts as a law book. Now this bookshelf here that you can read in Oridon is found just northwest of the Wayshrine that you start with by default. So this is probably one of the easiest law books to get to in the game to start with. That's what I'd recommend for this one. Yeah, you can just go to any bookcase that you haven't read before, and fun fact if you're not familiar, you might have seen there's certain bookshelves that you can read and you level up in a certain skill. In that case, they'll level up in bow. It's only a one-time thing, and it only happens for a certain amount of bookshelves per character. Alright, second option, Gallery Furnishings. So you need two things. You need a house, which you can get for free, and you need a furnishing, which you can get pretty easily. There's two ways I suggest. So firstly, free house. The same place you find the bookshelf, you'll also be able to find this NPC here if you haven't spoken to her already. Just speak to her, you'll get a quest, and all you have to do is just talk to her for a fair bit. The quest will give you a house which will show up here if you haven't got all three yet. And then, yeah, that's all there is to it. So the house that you get depends on your alliance, but you'll either get the Rosy Lion, Ebony Flask Inn Room, or you'll get Mara's Kiss Public House. Now, when you're ready to travel to it to place your furnishing in, you can just left-click on it, and it'll show you the location on the map. So you left-click and then travel inside. Alright, so there are two gallery furnishings I suggest you look at. One is through the Undaunted Trophies. So all of the dungeons in this game, when you complete them on normal, you'll get a trophy. So for example, if you complete Fungogodo 1, is probably the fastest to complete, you get a trophy of Krag the Dread King. These count as gallery furnishings, so just one dungeon, if you've done it in the past, you'll be able to do this very easily. The other really easy option is if you go to the Achievement Furnisher in Cyrodiil. So you can find it here in the Victory Tavern in Ordinary Dominion. This is the Western Gate. Or Daggerfall Covenant at the Northern Gate, it's in the Highlands Glory Inn. So this one here. Heart Pact, you find it in Wayrest in the Southern Gate, down here. Now, all these locations, you get the Achievement Finisher, you go into the menu here. The item you're looking for is the Dominion Pennant for 200 Alliance points. Completing the tutorial, you'll immediately have access to this, and if you complete the tutorial on any character, you'll have more than enough Alliance points to spend on getting this. That's another quick way. Anything other than that, I think is just complicating matters too much. Just keep in mind you can't travel to your house in Cyrodiil, but you can travel to it anywhere else outside of Cyrodiil and Imperial City. So once you do your other two endeavors, my advice is just travel to your house after that, and yeah, you can get it done pretty quick. You can also, from this Wayshrine out of Cyrodiil, you can also travel into your house. So go left-click, Mara's Public House inside, confirm, and yeah, it'll take you straight there. So that's another thing you can do. Well, that's not good. Why is it playing the title music? Great stuff. Alright, there we go. So When you get to your house, you go to Housing Editor, bottom right there. In the bottom middle, you'll see it says Browse, you just go to that. Now, either you'll have your item in the Gallery section here, it'll either be the Undaunted Trophies, you might have the 10-year anniversary picture, or just like a picture. If you get the chest in Craglorn, if you're trying to farm over there, if you do any resources, you might actually get a painting from the chest there. That's also another thing. Yeah, either the Undaunted Trophies or the pennant that you get from Cyrodiil. Either one of those works. So we'll just get our trophy, put it on the wall over here, and place this. And then you, at the bottom left, you'll see it says undo. Just hit that, and then hit redo. And that'll also count. If you just pick it up and place it with the left click, spam that, it doesn't actually do anything because it has to go into your inventory first and then come out and get placed. And what undo redo does is that actually puts it in your inventory first. That's why undo redo works. So just just place it down, undo redo, or in the future, if you can get yourself a little location with a bunch of the furnishings laid out, you can come into that location, find the one you want to look at, pick it up, put it away, undo, redo, undo, and that works too. That's usually what I do. Eventually, might be worth getting a bit of a bigger house than this. Like no more than like 100 grand on a house, I think is needed in this game, unless you want to be a guild hall owner or some shit. Alright, beasts. There are a lot of places you can find beasts in this game. I'll just go through some of the easiest to reach, because there's like the easiest ones to find at first, and then the best places to use once you like unlock them. So Glenumbra, this Beldama weird tree over here, there are wolves scattered all over the place and a couple of bears. That's a really good option usually that I like to use. I think the harpies around the Shrieking Scar also count as beasts. In Stonefalls, Crow's Wood has lots of wolves near the start, just over the bridge when you get in. There's lots of them all over the place there. The starting zones like Bleakrock Isle and Strotokai, they have lots of wolves as well. And there's like the fox things. I can't remember what they're called. They're in Craglorn too. If you want to do the resources from the world option, you've also got lots of beasts in all over Craglorn, because the Welwas and I believe the I'm trying to remember what they're called, like the little fox dingo things. Can't remember what they're called. Jackals, is it? I think it's jackals, yeah. There's some near just to the northwest when you leave Belkarth, for example. Now, I personally... Oh, yeah, Orodon as well. There's also Shattered Grove. There's lots of beasts over here. Now, I personally prefer using dungeons because... you know how I am with instance places in this game. When you can use an instance area, you don't have to worry about like shit already being killed when you get there. With instance places, as long as you're on your own, you can get in here and there's like the enemies will always be spawned ready to go, so you're not wasting time like running around looking for shit that might have respawned or not. So yeah, there's 5 skeevers just in the first room, like as soon as you get in, which are all beasts. So all I do is I just grab this group here, I kill them all, and then that's literally it. They are slightly more tanky than like wolves in Overland, but that's, yeah, they're still very weak. Just like I've shown before on other videos that you can just come in here on like a level 3 character, a level 3 Templar or Necromancer, and you can just use the jabs or the scythe and just kill them, and like even with like no armor or anything. They're very weak on normal. So yeah, you can do that. Now, I'll just show you quickly how to get here if you haven't been to Wayrest Sewers 1. If you have this unlocked, you can travel straight in here from a wayshrine, so it's again, very convenient. Love group dungeons for this. But yeah, you just hit the exit, and wherever you came in from as a wayshrine, you just get taken straight there, so it's still even more convenient because of that. Now, what you want to do if you haven't been there before, Home Tools, Browse Homes, go to Gardener House, into G, over here, and we just travel to one of these houses. Doesn't matter which one, doesn't matter how much gold you got, this will cost you nothing to travel there. Okay, turn around, leave the home, and you're taken to Stormhaven. Once you leave that home, just go up the stairs, to the right, to the left, follow the wall over here, and the sewers is just down there. You just travel over here, and you'll unlock it, and you're good to go from that point on. Resources from the world. my advanced strategy for this is basically just picking a zone, running in a straight line until you find some shit. So just a couple of things to note that might help. There are a few things that don't count. Chests, these troves, and anything insect related. So butterflies, torch bugs, the flesh fly swarms that you can find. Creatures that drop like leather, like for example beast in this case, they don't count either. But everything else is fair game. Alchemy plants, water nodes, cloth nodes, wood, blacksmithing ores, jewelry, seams, all that stuff works. So that's what you're looking for. So basically my advice, go to settings, video, and go down and turn grass off, because a lot of the stuff that you look for can be behind grass, and that doesn't get taken away at, like, it doesn't look any different when you take the grass away. So you can kind of find a lot of stuff much easier if you if there's something like grass in the way. So we'll take this runestone, that's one. But you'll see what I mean. So we'll literally just run in a straight line, basically, and find a bunch of stuff. So there's a runestone over there, we'll grab that. Just avoid the wasps on the side there. Another one. The water hyacinth, we'll grab that too. There's a thieves trove, just to show that it doesn't work. I'll grab this too. Yeah, so still 4 out of 8. They're still worth getting, because you can get some good stuff from them. Yeah, water node as well. Over here. Ooh. Runestone. Water node there. There's all the forgs all over the place. Water node. And then water node there. So you see what I mean? Like, it took like no more than a few minutes getting everything. So Craglorn is a great place for this. The reason I like to use Craglorn is there's a few resources that can get you gnome crocs. So yeah, here we go. Potent gnome crocs. So this is one of the items you get from Craglorn specifically. Like, this is exclusive to the Craglorn zone. So potent gnome crocs and fortified gnome crocs. So these sell for a lot, or can be used for research or for weapon or armor traits. I don't really use Known Honed on armor, but I use Known Honed on dual wield on the main hand. It's a pretty good option there. But yeah, otherwise you can sell them for quite a bit of gold to fuel your other endeavors. They come from the clothing nodes, the wood nodes, the blacksmithing nodes, and the jewelry nodes. So they don't come from runestones or anything alchemy related. But yeah, any like maple or ruby ash, like that maple might have it. Iron ore, you know, that sort of thing. That stuff has it. And yeah, once you've done that, you can just turn the grass back on. Otherwise the world looks a little bit less lively. Yeah, Craglorn, getting here, you don't have any wayshrines by default. So if you haven't been here before, either ask someone to bring you here, or just use the same method as home tours for getting to Wayrest 1 for killing beasts. All you do is use any of the houses here. So Hackfields, Domus Frascus, Earthtier Cavern, or Elenir Private Arena. Any of these 4 houses, just travel to them in home tours, and you'll be taken straight here when you leave the door. And as soon as you get here, you'll unlock this wayshrine as well, so you can easily access Spellcraft from that point. And like down the river here, there is a bunch of alchemy stuff you can get to easily do it. If not, just either go east, west, north. You'll just find heaps of shit all over the place. If you don't want to use Craglorn, maybe because it's too busy, sometimes there's lots, like this is the most busy zone of all, usually. There are so many zones in this game that you can just go and literally do the same thing. Just find a wayshrine, pick a direction, and just run, and you'll find some stuff very quickly, usually. Just, yeah, avoid bugs. To kill a player in Cyrodiil. Now, again, I don't suggest this option over the other ones, just because players are unpredictable, sometimes hard to find, and it's just Cyrodiil. You can't use Battlegrounds or Imperial City, which personally I think are easier to use just because it's easy to find players there. The only saving grace for this is that you don't actually have to kill them. As long as you participate in their death, it's enough for it to count for this. So I'll just go through a few things that will help, because I'm assuming the people that want to look at this one don't know how to kill a player, because, you know, PvPers, they're going to be experienced enough to know just how to do this straightforward. But there's a few things you want to know about Cyrodiil. Firstly, the as a damage dealer, having the base amount of health is not good enough. I'd say you at least need 30,000 health, and you want some critical resistance. Anything lower than that is like, usually you can die in a matter of seconds. And yeah, there are players who can just fucking blow you up, even at that amount of health. To run something higher than 30,000, preferably like 35,000, especially if you're new, and carry a lot of heals, a lot of buffs, especially like defensive buffs. Because what you can do is you can basically just carry like a few damage skills, light attack and like hit a couple of things or like a few dots on a player, and provided that they're killed by somebody else, it'll count for you. So I think it's much easier as a new player, keeping yourself alive and like trying to heal your teammates, because I find that's easier to do when you're starting off than just actually trying to kill the player yourself. Because yeah, like bursting a player down requires some coordination. It helps to have some experience there. So yeah, my advice is just basically try and get a tanky healer build going, follow a group around and just get them to sort of like just piggyback off their kills, and that's something you can do too. Restoration staff, it's great because sometimes, like usually when players are targeted and they know they're probably about to get killed, they'll usually roll dodge all over the place and line of sight and stuff. Restoration staffs have the fastest projectile speed of any of the weapons. Usually just like if you left click on a player, by the time you actually left click, it'll pretty much hit them. Whereas other weapons, for example, like destruction staff, it takes a little bit longer for the projectile to actually reach the target, and at that time, sometimes they can just roll dodge straight through it. And I find it's least likely for them to roll dodge your restoration staff attack. So if you want to get a couple of hits in to make sure you participate in a death of a player, I find restoration staff's the best. Grey Host. So Alliance blocked campaign, this tends to be the most busy, and you only really, I think, want to do this during prime time for your server, because otherwise there's just going to be so few players. Usually it'll take you ages finding them, and the ones that you will find will tend to be the ones that are experienced enough where killing them is probably the hardest thing. So yeah, just try and go prime time sometime if you can. If not, yeah, just try and stick to Grey Host, because this is usually the most busy one of the lot, and the most, what's the word? It's the most contended. Get yourself a set of Audis Wrath crafted, and use that on the front bar, and then on the back bar, use Rallying Cry. That tends to just be the most simple one to use. It gives you crit resist, which is great. It gives you weapon and spell damage, which is also great in Cyrodiil. And the 2 to 4 piece isn't amazing. The crit chance is good, but Max Magicka, I mean, that's good too. It's good, I suppose. But the 5 piece is just good enough where it doesn't matter. And then you want a monster set. Maybe it's something like either Vulcan Scoria, because it's very difficult to avoid getting hit by that. Or if you have it, Chokezone's good, because it just heals the shit out of you or somebody else. Engine Guardian is also interesting, because the spear that it spawns can be hit really... Like, it's easy for enemies to just accidentally target the sphere as well when it's up. Boxer is probably one of the best at the moment, because it just gives you a shit ton of regen for everything, and regen's what you want in Cyrodiil. Mostly in Battlegrounds, I'd say, but it's good in Cyrodiil too. Mitra, Balorg is also really good. As soon as your ultimate's at max, just use your ultimate and then start hitting people. Bloodspawn's pretty good too. What else? I personally like to use 1 piece of Magma Incarnate and 1 piece of Baron Thirsk, because they both give you recovery, so that's another regen option. Troll King also pretty good, because yeah, health regen, it's not as great as it used to be in Cyrodiil, but it's still not too bad. If you have access to a mythic, you want that too. So it really depends, because there's a lot of DLC requirements here, but just a couple that might work really well. These are also really good for Cyrodiil, but only a certain, like, few of them. So, Saint and Seducer, that one's really good. That's usually the one a lot of people go. One of the new ones that came out recently, which one's that? Mark and Ring, this is the one I use myself, just because I don't have the other mythics yet, but yeah, it's not too bad. If you have 2 5-piece sets, it gives you a lot of stats still and is worth running. Okay. Monimus Reforged is also really good, because the debuffs aren't that bad, and the buffs are really fucking good. Like Major Force, Minor Berserk, and Major Protection, Minor Vitality. I mean, those you kind of get other ways anyway, but it could just be a way to not have to worry about putting them on your bar. Yeah, Moniveth is great. I'll link some other stuff you can watch as well if you want to learn about PvP itself, because yeah, it's a steep learning curve if you haven't done this shit before. My advice in that case would just be to do the other options, but yeah. It's exciting, that's for sure, but it's not as reliable as the other options, I think. Okay, so that's everything. If you have any questions for me, if you have any insights, just let me know in the comments as always. Golden Vendor will be out tomorrow, so I'll be discussing that as well at the end of tomorrow's video. But for now, that'll be it for me. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time. Take care for now.